So hi everyone again. So my name is Eliana and I'm the Senior Recruitment Officer for Richmond. And I'm delighted to present alongside Greg Gannon, who is the Director of MBA. So next slide. So today we will talk about why do an MBA, why Richmond Business School, and our MBA and specializations. So Craig will go more in details about the MBA itself. And of course, we will have some technical about the applications information. And in the end, we have the Q&A session. So please, if you have any questions, write down your questions in the questions section. Next slide. So before we start the presentation, I would like to start the presentation with a quick COVID-19 update. We acknowledge that this current situation in higher education may concern you. We offered the blended options last fall with face-to-face and online classes, which are currently offering for spring semester, and we are expecting our students to return on campus probably in September. We hope so, of course. We have worked hard to ensure the safety of our students by applying changes on campus and social distancing for our students and the staff as well. We have a significant advantage being a small university, which have helped a lot in monitoring these changes. It is much easier compared to big universities. We also have done an internal survey, and 90% of our students said they feel safe on our campus. Of course, we monitor the government guidance and we'll update you through application communication that we send to the students. We're very much looking forward to face-to-face teaching in September. I'm sure our students too and our staff as well. Next slide. So our MBA has been developed with leaders in different companies around the world to create the new generation of leaders in a global business environment. The purpose of the MBA is to create leaders with a global perspective. This is achieved by keeping the program up to date with the current situation, but also having lecturers that have an academic and professional background. For many of you, the purpose of undertaking an MBA is the future of your career. The skills you will gain during our program and undertaking internship as well during your MBA studies will help you to secure that first opportunity after you have graduated. But also for those of you who already work, will have the opportunity to advance your career and of course to gain a higher earning capacity. Moreover, our MBA motto is Think Global. Our MBA has a real international flavor and offer the chance to mix with wide range of students from all over the world. If your future career plans involve working for an international corporations, then it will be advantageous to gain knowledge of different languages and cultures. So it's also, so you will going to experience an integrated internship, which Craig will elaborate that more and where students have gone to do these internships and what they got from the internship. Next slide. So Richmond is a unique institution in the UK and in London. We are an American university, and all our students will graduate with an American and British degree. So we have this unique dual accreditation. On our undergraduate programs, we follow the American liberal arts system, which is a bit different from UK universities, but in master level, all students are involved in 1 year master degree. and they get the American and British degree, which makes you a very international graduate. Selectively bids from both best education system in the world. We are a very international university. We are a small university compared to the UK universities, and we have a small class sizes, which makes your experience unique since you have a better interaction with your lecturers, your classmates, and also it is important that in 1 year of your studies, you must get the most of it. We have a 9 hours contact time per week. Also, all the students, they will have a personal academic advisor, and this academic advisor will help students throughout their studies in different, for example, in academic sides of things, for example, in internships. So you always will have help during your studies. Also, another important thing is that we have a 93 graduate employment. So students after 6 months of their graduation, they got their first jobs or they advanced their career. And this is feasible, as I mentioned before, due to the small class sizes. So we are able to help all students after their graduation. Next slides. So, but what to say about this glorious city? Where can I start? So let's start with the facts. Did you know that there are over 8.4 million trees, 300,000 gardens, and hectares of green space, which make London pretty much the United Nations definition of a national park? London is one of the most cultural cities on the planet. Over the last 7 years, London has become the bubble of the modern world. The city is home to more than 270 nationalities and 300 languages. It is the best place to be as an international student. It is consistently voted as the world's best city to live and study. There are so many amazing things to see and do outside of the classroom. So you could go to talks, to different talks, events, companies visit, which will be part of your program, exhibitions, galleries, museums, restaurants, cafes, and I can go on and on. All these experiences will complement the learning in the classroom. And as we said to our students, London is not just a city, it is a classroom itself. So now I will hand over to Greg, who will going in details about the program itself.
Hello, I'm Dr. Greg Gannon. I'm the Academic Director of the MBA. I'm going to talk you through the different pathways that we've designed onto the MBA, from the general MBA, which most students choose to take, to two specialist MBAs, one in marketing and one in human resource management. We'll talk through those and we'll look at some of the courses that they share and some of the specialities that students can choose. I'll then talk to you about research projects and internships. So everybody on the MBA will study a core of business functions that are vital to have the knowledge and skills in today's business world. These are the knowledge and skills that all managers must have to succeed. And so everybody studies economic analysis. They get this works as an introductory course to people who are coming from non-business undergraduate backgrounds, but it also forms as a development of economic understanding as it affects managers. So it's not a highly theoretical class, it's about the practical workings of the macroeconomic environment. All managers must be able to lead. Leadership is perhaps one of the most important skills you could develop. In managing organization people, which is essentially a HR course, We look at the skills of organizational behavior and leadership that are vital to be a successful business leader, manager in commercial and in governmental organizations. Everybody will also look at a global marketing strategy. In this course, students are challenged to take a product or service to a new international market that they have to research and develop themselves. And so doing that, they build up core competencies in marketing, which involves academic marketing theory and modern marketing practice, to develop a project which very much focuses on the international or global aspects of business. This serves again as a foundation for people who haven't studied marketing before, or as a development of skills and knowledge for people who come from a marketing background, either in education or in their work life. Everybody will also study strategic management. Strategic management is the highest level skill perhaps that you'll develop on your MBA. It's the skill of the boardroom, it's the skill of the entrepreneur, it's the skill of senior management. It's knowing how to face the challenge of the future. It's about planning to make the most of what you've got and exploit the resources available to you to make better futures, better, more secure business plans. All managers need to be financially literate. That's why you'll study financial management. Now, this doesn't turn you into an accountant, but it gives you the skills to talk to accountants. It gives you the skills to commit to financial planning. It gives you the skills to engage intelligently in boardroom discussions about finance and finance planning. It gives you the skills of knowing how to run a profitable business. Everybody will do a research project, so we'll prepare you through that with a course in business research. This is a practical, hands-on course where you develop the skills and knowledge in researching business problems, business opportunities, and perhaps solving those problems or creating new business opportunities. This directly leads on to the capstone projects, which we'll talk about later. In the spring semester, we offer a series of electives or options. Every student will take one elective course in the spring. Now, if you've chosen the marketing pathway, we will point you towards marketing ethics, which looks at sustainability, particularly as an important topic within modern marketing, or digital marketing, or marketing in the digital world. Of course, all marketing is digital really nowadays, and it looks at the core skills and competencies in developing a strategic plan in the digital environment. If you're choosing a HR pathway, then we'll point you towards leading, mentoring and coaching, which is a leadership development course, or human resource management, which is a more practical look at the skills needed to run the human resources in your business. If you're doing the general MBA, you could choose any of those marketing or HR courses, plus perhaps a course in project management, international finance management, or our very popular entrepreneurship and innovation management. General pathway students, which comprises most of our applicants, get to choose from any of this suite of electives. Marketing pathway students who specialize in marketing take marketing ethics or digital marketing. HR students take the leadership course or the HR course. So what will you study? We know from research and from what our contacts in industry tell us that people who are hiring are looking for not what you know, but how you use knowledge. We know that employers are looking for people who can think critically, communicate clearly, and solve problems. We look at how people do this in the business world very often by looking at case studies of either best practice or analyzing business failures in the business world. Recent leadership case studies have looked at what's been going on with various developments in Volkswagen. We looked at a case study at Santander involving Andrei Orlik. Recently, as Mark Zuckerberg and his organization has taken over much of the headlines in the last few years, case studies have looked at not just Facebook, but other of the tech and information companies. In manufacture and project management, we've looked at cases of Nissan and what's been going on there with Corliss Gosan. So we weave into the design of our classes case studies that are relevant to the contemporary issues in leadership in business. Who will teach you? Well, we're really proud to have some very well experienced, highly qualified faculty members who blend together experience in the business world and the highest level of academic qualifications. So if you're interested particularly in the HR route, you're most likely at some point to work with Professor Dr. Carola Heiker. Her specialization is particularly leadership or organizational behavior and leadership, as well as publishing and writing books in this area. She also runs a very highly successful practice where she mentors and coaches the executive suite members of numerous blue chip companies. So she's working with board level leaders in all kinds of industry, from manufacturing to finance, and offering personal coaching and leadership skills development courses. So she has the professional practice that marries with the academic knowledge. Professor Dr. Sabine Spangenberg, who's our Associate Dean, is a well-published academic in economics. Hamad Khan has a long career in marketing in Europe and in the Middle East, and he brings that professional experience into his classes. You have myself as director of the MBA. I also specialize in strategy and international business. My career has taken me to, I don't know, way over 15 countries, living and working, delivering various programs. So I've tried to weave into my teaching and courses that international experience and knowledge gained over a career of, I won't tell you how many years actually, but more than I care to mention. As well as our faculty that we're very proud of, to enrich our teaching and your learning experience, we always asking contacts in the business world to come and speak to you. We have guest speakers who've come from all areas of banking. Of course, in London, we're well situated for contacts, particularly in banking, but also in hot new areas like fintech or financial technology. We've had guest speakers in. We've had things that may be more surprising. We had the captain of a Cunard ship come to speak about luxury tourism last year. We've had the charity directors and CEOs of NGOs. We've had leaders, particularly of luxury, hospitality and tourism. We've had members of the national government. We've had experts, recruiters and HR managers. So we encourage faculty to bring into the classroom contacts who can give students an insight into what's actually happening now in the world of business. Who will you study with? Well, our students come from literally all over the world. I mean, traditionally, perhaps because of the kind of American heritage of the university, one of the largest single groups is often Americans. That would certainly be the case in this year and last year. Other large groups would be from all over the European Union, particularly at the moment France, Germany, the UK isn't in that group anymore, and Spain. Although we have students from the Middle East, including the UAE and Saudi Arabia. We regularly have students from Turkey. At the moment, we have a student from Indonesia, Cyprus, India, Philippines. So a really international mix. The average age at the moment is 29 and a half, although the majority fall clearly in between the 21 to 29 bracket. The gender balance, in 2018, it was almost exactly 50-50, men and women on the course. Last academic year, that balance shifted towards females, 65-35. Many students have significant previous work experience. At the moment, we have students who have work experience in finance and banking. We have students who are currently working in those sectors, actually. But students also have experience in telecommunications and in non-business related. We have quite a few people with a background in education, that primary teaching, high school teaching, and in tertiary education as well. We have someone with a long career in real estate. Sometimes a reason to do the MBA is you want to switch careers entirely. Hence, we might get someone from primary school education wanting to refocus on the business world. We've had an actor doing the same, an ex-soldier doing the same from the American military, and last year a nurse doing the same, all wanting to use the MBA as a platform to spring into a new development of their career and professional life. So who has studied with us? Well, we've got alumni, as we've already mentioned, from all over the world, at least 140 countries and counting. On the MBA particularly, we have alumni who is senior in Johnson & Johnson, who not least are developing one of the COVID vaccines in the United States. We have the president of a private university in India. We have very senior IT manager at Lufthansa. We have a lot who've gone into banking in London and around the world. HSBC Bank, not least, the Arab Bank of Investment and Foreign Trade. Although we've had people go off into unexpected directions. So brand manager at Harrods, for instance. The possibilities are endless. I point you to Miss Drisi, one of our recent graduates. She speaks well of her experience here as a platform that built skills that have developed her career. And she's currently working with EY in Paris as a consultant and asset management manager. So the internships, we get asked a lot of questions about this. Richmond offers an internship with credit. That's quite unusual. It's an internship that gives you credit towards your MBA. Now, who would do this and why? Well, some students, particularly who are making that change in career, or who have some but not much work experience already, really need that insight into the workplace to not only build their skills and knowledge, but to build their network, to get to know a kind of try before you buy way of changing careers sometimes, a try before you buy way of joining a particular company sometimes. So for those students, an internship is an excellent way to build new contacts, explore opportunities, as well as all the psychosocial benefits like gaining confidence and a sense of being able to achieve things in the workplace. So highly recommend them. Although, of course, they're not for everyone. Some people come to London and find a great part-time job that they want to keep, and it's giving them the same kind of benefits. They will go on to do a slightly different capstone project. Even during COVID, we've had some successful online or virtual internships with a variety of companies, from fintech, financial technology, to fashion. So the shutdown, obviously, have to be honest, made things difficult for internships, but they didn't end completely. And we're having lots of interest and inquiries from employers this year as well. So we're looking forward to opening up again in the summer and continuing with more traditional type internships.
Okay, back to me. So we have been talking about wonderful things. You have seen the options you have and how you will fulfill your career dreams. But how do we make this happen? So we would like you to, so the admissions process is to send a direct online application form, which is through the website. And also we will need a personal statement. So in the personal statement, you need to talk a little bit about yourself. Why do you choose the MBA at Richmond, and how the MBA will help you with your future aspiration. Also, we will need the CV. If you have a gap year, for example, we would like we would like you to explain why there is why did you have that gap year, and probably you can add it to your personal statement, for example. Also, we will need a proof of bachelor degree. We will need the transcript where we will see your grades and the modules that you have taken through your bachelor degree. Also, we will need the English language certificate for those who their first language it's not English. So in English language certificates, we accept IELTS, TOEFL, Cambridge, and Pearson. So for IELTS, we will need 6.0 in each component. For TOEFL, we will need listening 21, reading 22, writing 21, and speaking 23. For Pearson, which is test of English, we will accept 60 overall, and Cambridge 169 in each components. So the tuition fees for the UK students are 13,500, and for international students, US and EU, is 16,500. Next slide, please. So, but also we have scholarships that we award students with, and the scholarships are merit-based. So the higher your grades in your bachelor, the better the scholarships. So we have our alumni award. So if any of you is one of our alumni, so it will get 20%. And we have the Master Excellence Award, which students need to have a 3.7 GPA, which we're going to get 20% of the fees. And the Master's Achievement Award, which is 3.3 GPA, and it is 15%. So now we will move to the Q&A session. So if anyone has a question, please write it to the question section. So also, if you feel that you don't have any questions today, that's okay. So you can send it to our email, which is inquiries@richmond.ac.uk, which myself and my colleague will answer the questions. And also, Greg, if you have a specific question about the program itself, so you can send an email to Greg.
Yeah, sure. Very often people come out with questions a day or a week or two later, so feel free to contact me if you have programs about the MBA specifically at my email address, which is there on the screen, or just Google me, Greg Gannon, and find me on LinkedIn, and you can message me that way.
So we have a question, which is when would be the most logical time to apply? So we start, for example, for students who would like to apply for September 2021, the applications have been opened since last September 2020. So we expect to get to receive the application by June, especially for those international students who need to apply for visa as well. So because the process is a bit longer than the UK students. So we definitely need to receive the application by June.
There's another question. Are there any other tests potential students have to take before applying?
And by test, we mean English language test, or do you mean any GMAT or?
Let's assume they mean GMAT. Yes, GMAT.
Yes, I think so. I think so. No, we do. I mean, the students, they don't need to apply for GMAT, so it's not a mandatory. If you have it, that's okay. It's a bonus. It's a bonus for you, but it is not mandatory.
That's because application is by resume or curriculum vitae, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
There's another question. Can you please explain how the course differs per semester from full-time? So if a part-time student were to apply, we can tailor make a schedule to fit them and their work. The part-time MBA is completed in 2 years. A full-time MBA for fall starters, so September starters, is completed in 12 months. They do the fall semester, they do spring semester, and then they would do their internship and research project in the summer, and that will be completed by the 1st of September the following year. So it's 12 months on that schedule. If you were to join in spring as a full-time student, you would have your first semester in spring. You would then have a rather nice summer vacation in which we encourage students to seek work experience, either in London or at home. Then you will rejoin us in fall for your second semester. And in the following spring, you would take your internship and research project to be completed by the end of April, beginning of May, the following year.
Mm-hmm.
Is that clear? Are students able to work part-time while attending school? That's a very good question.
Yes.
Legally, yes, very much so. There is the UK Home Office puts a maximum on that of, I think it's between 20, 24 hours. They're
20
always
hours.
changing it. 20 hours is it now?
20 hours, yes.
Now, on the MBA, you will have a minimum 9 hours face-to-face contact a week. That's an absolute minimum. It will never be less than that. It's often more. Now, 3 courses with 3 hours in the classroom each week is the equivalent of 37 hours of study, because you're not just 3 hours in class, but there are other activities outside class, reading, research, assignment writing. So that takes up 36 hours a week. That's a full-time job in under European employment law. So when you're with us on the MBA, we need you to focus on the MBA. However, I really encourage students to take part-time work, but to be careful, perhaps do it in the second and third semester. Give themselves some time to fit into the higher level study. Part-time work's great, not just because we all love money, but because it's building your experience, it's building your network, especially if it's relevant part-time work. It's building your experience, it's building your network. You make friends at work, don't you? There's a social aspect to it as well. So it's good for your resume, it's good for your bank balance, it's good for your social life. And if you get the right type of part-time job, then it can also help your studies because you'll be getting professional insights in the business world as well. So yes, you can, and I actually encourage students to take relevant part-time work experience when they're with us in London.
Just to make clear that international students who are in visa they are able to work for 20 hours per week. And during the summer, when they don't have classes, they can work full time.
And to be honest, many of them do. Many of them do.
Yes, exactly. So there is another question. Is there career counseling and assistance in finding jobs opportunity following the program? Absolutely, and you will going to get a lot of help from our internship and employability office. So we have a dedicated person to help students to find either internships during their program for the program itself, but also if they would like to find a job, for example, working 20 hours, as we mentioned before, or after their graduation. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of help in that part. Mm-hmm. And also we are lucky because although we are a small university, but we have like around 15,000 alumni, and they have been very kindly by offering internships to our students, but also some of them they have hired our students as well. So there is that connection between our alumni and Richmond, and we thank them very much for helping us in that part as well.
Yes, definitely. Another follow-up question: can American students work in the UK as a student? Absolutely. Many of them have done in previous years. Often they're well placed in the job market in London, obviously because they're English native speakers. So language is no barrier to them. So yes, many of them do.
So Sophia is asking, can you please, can you explain the personal statement a bit more? So Sophia, as I mentioned, we will need to see like 3 parts in the personal statement. So we will need to know you. So that's why I mentioned that you need to write a little bit about yourself. So what you have done, what your extracurriculum activities you have done during your bachelor degree, for example. Also, why do you want to study MBA? So what are your future plan, for example, or aspirations, and how our MBA will help you to achieve this. So this is 3 parts that we would like to see.
Yeah.
I don't know if you, Greg.
Yeah, no, I think a good personal statement is not just where you've been, but where you're going, and how we're going to help you get there. So why coming to London, why doing this, how that's going to help you get the future that you want. There's another question: does the university have housing opportunities for graduate students? But the short answer to that is no. We found that most graduate students prefer to be away from undergraduate housing. All of the students in the past few years have sought their own accommodation, either in the private rental market or in private student accommodation. It's easy to find. The price is strangely actually falling in London. On application, there is advice about where to look for that, though. Although we don't provide graduate halls of residence.
No, but what we provide is we have the accommodation officers. So we have a list with accommodation around Kensington because you are going to be based in Kensington. And so we will help you in counseling where you, for example, where you could find your accommodation. So I advise when you apply, for example, for the program, then we will send, for example, a list with accommodation that we work with, and then you can find which one is suitable for you. I don't see any. Do you see any any other questions, Greg?
Let me just scroll through. There's another one just popped in. Do transcripts have to be official or unofficial?
It has to be official.
Savannah, are you asking that because you're pending final results? You're waiting for final results?
But that's okay, because when you so when the students apply, we don't expect that you are going to have the transcript, because the transcript you're going to get it around end of May or June, depending in which country you're applying from. So what we will need from you is it's a personal statement, a copy of your passport, a CV, and then we start the application process. Also, after that, we will need the English language test. You're not going to have the English language test. I mean, some students, they might have it, but most of the students, they don't have the English language test when they apply.
Although in Savannah's case, I think the English test is waived if she's an American citizen.
Yes, but in general, for others, for other who are from other countries, for example, and they need the English language test. So in the beginning, we will need, as I mentioned, a copy of your passport, personal statement, and CV. And then we will send you an offer, a conditional offer, which the offer will say that we are expecting the transcript, which will be the official transcript, and the English language test. And then your offer will become unconditional. So,
yeah. So on application, official transcripts are not necessary, but by the time you get to the visa application stage, then it needs to be necessary.
Yes, yes, yeah. We are not going to issue an unconditional offer, which you will need, the students will need to apply for the visa until we get the official transcript.
Okay, thanks for those questions. Are there any more questions before we begin to wrap up? Okay, like we've already mentioned, in 10 minutes next week, you may have a question. You can contact enquiries@richmond.ac.uk, or if it's specifically about the MBA program structure or outcomes, email me at the address on the page, gannong@richmond.ac.uk, or just Google me and find me on LinkedIn and we'll connect that way. I'll be happy to connect with you on there.
Take a picture of the slides, you're gonna need it. And also in the next slides, Greg, if you go to the next slides, we have social media. We also get a lot of questions through our social media.
Sorry. Right, the chat box is stopping me doing it. Sorry.
Yes. So we get a lot of questions through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So let us know whichever is easier for you. And we are here. I'm Greg, and myself and my colleagues are here to help you in every single stage of your journey. And we would like to make it as smooth as you can, because either you believe it or not, it is a very enjoyable one, especially when you finish the application form and you just wait for the classes to happen.
Okay, thanks for your time and patience listening to us today. Again, contact us if you've got any further questions. Whatever you choose to do, I wish you the best of luck, and I really hope to see you in London soon.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening.